friends, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, my name is Brian Valdez and I'm a local realtor in the Portland metro and surrounding area. And usually on this channel I talk about real estate, relocation, and living in Portland, but today's video is a little bit different because I'm a huge tech enthusiast. And in 2026, technology, especially internet, is no longer optional. It's not a nice to have anymore. It's infrastructure, just like water, electricity, or the roads. So going forward, I'm officially adding more tech content to my channel, especially tech that directly impacts working from home, running a business, creating content, streaming and entertainment, and even home values and livability. And today we're starting with internet, because without reliable internet, none of this works. Not my business, not a YouTube, not streaming, not smart homes, no remote work. And if you live here in Portland or in the surrounding suburbs, your internet options are more limited than you might think. In 2026, internet is doing way more than it did even 5 years ago. For me, personally, my internet supports running a real estate business, uploading large YouTube videos, hosting Zoom calls with clients, editing and backing up 4K video, cloud storage, AI tools, smart home devices, streaming in multiple rooms. And I'm not quite unique. Most households have multiple people working from home, kids streaming, gaming, or doing schoolwork. You have smart TVs, doorbells, cameras, thermostats, phones, tablets, laptops, gaming consoles. So when people ask me, do I really need fast internet? The real question is, how many things are using your internet at the same time? Because that's where speed, consistency, and technology typically matter. If you live in the Portland metro area, most neighborhoods only have two main internet service provider options. You either have Xfinity or Ziply Fiber. And that's it for most people. And these two providers use very different technologies. So with Xfinity, they have something called coaxial cable internet. Xfinity primarily uses coaxial copper cable, the same infrastructure originally designed for cable TV. Some of the characteristics are you get shared bandwidth with your neighborhood, speeds can fluctuate during peak hours, upload speeds are usually much slower than download, performance depends on how many nearby homes are online. And if you've ever noticed your internet slowing down at the nighttime or the weekends, that's exactly why. I've personally been a long-time coax internet user for many years, and it's worked well enough. But once you start uploading large files, live streaming, or running multiple high bandwidth tasks at once, you feel the limitations. Ziply uses fiber internet. Ziply uses fiber optic or glass fiber technology. And these differences between coax is that fiber is dedicated bandwidth, symmetrical upload and download speeds, meaning you'll get both up and download speeds at the same speed, much lower latency, more consistent performance, and fiber doesn't downgrade the same way copper lines do. But Ziply availability is very location dependent and not every neighborhood has access. Now this is where things get really interesting. If you're lucky enough to live in Hillsboro, you have access to something most cities in America don't. A city-run internet provider called HiLight. HiLight is municipal fiber internet, meaning it's owned and operated by the city. It uses fiber optic technology. It's priced aggressively, and it's built for long-term infrastructure, not short-term profits. So here's the part that blew my mind. 1 gigabit of fiber speed starting only at $55 per month. That's not a promo. That's not bundled. That's not for the first year. That's just the price. As someone who demands a lot of internet, that immediately caught my attention. Why I demand high performance internet. Let me explain why my use case matters, because it might just match yours. I upload large video files to YouTube, transfer footage between drives and cloud backups. I use AI tools that rely on constant connectivity, stream content while other devices are active, and run my whole business entirely online. I need upload speeds just as much as download speeds, and that's where fiber really separates itself. With fiber, uploading a massive video doesn't choke your entire network. With coax, it absolutely can. I'm currently showcasing the highly anticipated XB10 modem from Xfinity. This modem is extremely hard to get. It's not available in all markets, and it's designed for up to 10 gigabit speeds. And here's the key thing that people miss. Not all areas can actually support these speeds yet. So even if you have an XB10, your neighborhood infrastructure still matters. Most areas simply don't have 10 gigabyte capacity live yet. That's why availability is limited and why this modem still is very rare. It's basically future-proofing hardware ahead of widespread infrastructure upgrades. But there are some devices that can utilize 10 gigabyte speeds like a NAS or hard drives that can connect to your network. So I'm really keen on trying to get a XB10. One thing that I've learned after years on coax, your speeds are not just about your plan, they're about your neighborhood usage. When more people are online, speeds can dip. Latency increases, uploads can slow. This is the shared nature of coaxial cable. It doesn't mean it's bad, it just means that it has limitations. And once you experience fiber, you notice a difference immediately. No matter who your internet service provider is, there's another big decision. Do you rent their equipment or do you buy your own? So let me tell you some of the pros of renting your equipment from your internet service provider. So your ISP can support you if it breaks. They have easier time of troubleshooting the device, and it's plug and play, meaning that you can call up Xfinity and get the devices and hardware and get it connected pretty quickly. Now the cons, monthly rental fees, you have limited control, and your ISP can throttle or restrict these settings. Versus owning your own equipment. The pros are you're not paying these rental fees, you have full control over your network, you have better performance issues. But the cons are you are responsible for these issues. You have limited internet service provider support, and you have to be more technically responsible for some of the issues that may come up with your internet at home. So there's no right answer. It depends on how comfortable you are with technology. One important thing I want to clarify about this switch is that my setup is primarily Wi-Fi based, and that's intentional. I don't just work out of one room. I'm moving between my office, filming areas, living spaces, and different rooms throughout the house. Between laptops, phones, cameras, smart TVs, smart home devices, I need strong, consistent Wi-Fi coverage everywhere, not just blazing fast speeds at a single Ethernet port. For a lot of people, internet conversations focus only on hardwired Ethernet speeds, but the reality is most modem households live on Wi-Fi. So part of this HiLight switch is testing real-world Wi-Fi performance, consistency across multiple rooms, and how fiber handles multiple devices simultaneously, and whether I notice fewer slowdowns compared to coaxial cable. Because for my day-to-day life, my business, Wi-Fi performance matters just as much as raw speed matters. This is about the internet and how it actually feels when you're moving around your own home, not just what the speed test says. So here's why I'm switching to HiLight. I'm officially switching from Xfinity to HiLight fiber for a period of time. I'll be running the HiLight 1 gig fiber, again with the consistent speeds of uploads and downloads. And I purchased my own router. So I'm going to be doing real world testing, uploads, streaming, video exports, daily usage. And I'll be sharing these speed tests, real world performance, the pros and cons, and honest feedback. Because if you live in Hillsboro, this is one of the most underrated advantages of living here. For this comparison, I purposely tested everything over Wi-Fi because that's how I actually use the internet day to day. I ran speed tests using fast.com on an iPhone 16 using Wi-Fi 7 technology and a MacBook Pro using Wi-Fi 6 technology. This gives a really good real-world comparison between a next-generation Wi-Fi device and a still very common modern laptop. I'll be showing those results on screen so you can see download speeds, consistency, and how Wi-Fi performance differs between these devices. Because in 2026, most people aren't plugged into Ethernet cables anymore. They're on Wi-Fi, moving around the house, multitasking, streaming, and working all at once. So this test isn't about chasing perfect lab numbers, it's about how fiber versus coax actually performs on Wi-Fi in a real home. All right, so you're going to see here I have Xfinity with an XB10 modem router on a coax connection using an iPhone 16 with Wi-Fi 7. I have a 2 gig download speed plan on here, but you'll notice my upload speeds will probably never get to or will hover around that 280 to 500. It will never go past that. All right, here we have HiLight's new internet with my own personal router. This is a fiber connection iPhone 16 on Wi-Fi 7. And notice the plan is on the 1 gig plan, so I'm getting 800 megabytes on the download, and what's interesting is the upload will pretty much match that. So we're roughly in that gig to gig similar speed across the sides. All right, now I'm testing Xfinity with XB10 modem router with a coax connection on a MacBook Pro with Wi-Fi 6. So again, this is a 2 gig download speed. I'm getting just over 1 gig for Wi-Fi, but where again the limitations come in for Xfinity is my upload speed is probably not going to get past that 300 speed mark for Xfinity. All right, so now going back to HiLight with a personal router, again back on a fiber connection with the MacBook Pro with Wi-Fi 6 technology, and you're gonna see the similarities kind of with the speed being right around that 1 gig mark. Again, I'm getting 710 down, and then probably that 800 mark for up. All right, let's talk about the speed test results. On Xfinity, the download speeds were solid, no surprise there. But the big weakness showed up immediately on the upload side. With coax cable internet, download and upload speeds are not equal, and that matters a lot in 2026. Uploading video files, sending files, cloud backups, video calls, all of that relies on upload speed, and that's where the coax starts to fall behind, especially when more people are in your neighborhood and are online. Now let's compare that to HiLight Fiber. With fiber, the upload and download speeds are nearly the same, which makes it a massive difference in real-world use. Everything feels smoother, uploads finish faster, video calls stay stable, multiple devices don't slow each other down. That's why if fiber is available in your area, it's hands down the best option. More consistency, lower latency, and performance that actually keeps up with how we use the internet today. If you're about speed, reliability, and future-proofing your home, fiber wins every time. And one last thing before I wrap this up. If you're watching and thinking, I want fast, reliable fiber internet, like this is my next home, especially HiLight Fiber, that's something that I can help with. If you're interested in finding the next best new home with HiLight internet in Hillsboro or the surrounding areas, I'd be happy to be your realtor and guide you through that process. I help buyers identify neighborhoods with HiLight availability, find new construction and resale homes wired for fiber, understand how internet infrastructure impacts long-term livability and value, and ultimately land a home that fits both your lifestyle and your tech needs. So if fast internet, work from home performance, and future-proof infrastructure matters to you, reach out, and I'll be happy to help find your dream home when it matters.